Hey everyone, it's Richard. It's good to see you. So here I am, birds tweeting. Rain might arrive any second. I'm hopefully not whilst I'm still talking to you, because I'll be doing a dash for it. So here I am in my garden. It's September the 1st. It's my birthday month, where allegedly, according to my birth certificate, I turned 50, which seems incredible that I made it this far. But I have a lot of stories in 50 years, and I guess the one in the last 7 or 8 months of having lymphoma has changed my story quite significantly. So here I am back on camera. You'll see I have more hair growing. It's almost a style. This is almost a style. People are going to be going into hair salons around the world going, can I have a Richard? Like they used to have a Rachel. They're now going to go, can I have a Richard? There's, worryingly, I think there might be a little bit of a Mohican that is growing right into the middle, and I've got this kind of little Tintin Mohican, which is slightly odd. But everything's returning, and this is returning, and my eyebrows are there in all their glory. So you'll know that on Friday, well, some of you might know that I got the all clear that I'm still in remission following my stem cell transplant, which is amazing. So I think we've worked incredibly hard in the last 7 months to allow the cancer to move out of my body, to acknowledge its presence and allow it to move out of my body, and to find a way that my body heals and recovers and as best we can keeps the cancer away. So I have a type of cancer called mantle cell, which is a form of lymphoma, a blood cancer. I got it at stage 4B on December the 7th, 2021. So it's been a fast 7 months with a lot happening in that time. 4 rounds of chemo and a stem cell transplant. So here I am still in remission, which is amazing. So I get to see my transplant consultant this afternoon and go through my results, and I get discharged from the hematology transplant team, and I get put back under the care of my lymphoma oncology team. I'll be on some kind of maintenance plan. So mantle cell, I of course wouldn't get any old lymphoma. I would get mantle cell, which is rare. There's only a few hundred people in the UK diagnosed with it each year. And the problem with mantle cell is that it likes to come back. It's like a visitor that has such a nice time in your home. It's just desperate to be back. For its first opportunity to go, when can I come back? It wants to come back. So we've taken a real integrative approach, and I'll talk much more about this during the coming weeks and months about our approach, because it's been really fundamental to my recovery and to my healing of the body. Not just allowing the cancer to go, but to then heal the body, because it's pretty brutal the last 7 months on my body. It's been quite an attack on my body, more the chemotherapy, it feels like, than the cancer itself. So it's quite a cool week, because it's the last couple of weeks I've actually been allowed out the house after 4 months of really being in full isolation. We're going out and doing human things, which has also been interesting and wonderful, and at the same time difficult. Excuse that noise that sounds like a dentist drill. It isn't. It's very fucking annoying. And it's clearly not going to stop, and then neither am I. And it stopped. I don't really know what I was talking about. I was talking about my lymphoma journey, and I don't know. Integrative approach has been really important. So we will talk more about that in the coming weeks. It's September the 1st today, and that's quite an auspicious day. Yes, because it's entering into my birthday month, if I didn't mention that already. B, because there's something about the 1st of September which sends a bit of a shiver through my body. I have a bit of a going back to school anxiety, even though I'm nearly 50. It feels like I'm still going back to school, which I know I'm not, but my body still has that slight response. Beginning of September, my God, have I got all my colouring pens and my protractors, and what's this term going to bring me? And I still have that. It's funny, isn't it? It feels quite unsettled. And at the same time, I'm managing some excitement about my being in remission, and I guess some trepidation about what's ahead in my cancer journey. So September the 1st also brings us Blood Cancer Awareness Month, which is a global awareness month, bringing attention to blood cancer, which is often out of the cancers that we read about in the press, is talked about, I think, one of the least, and yet in the UK it's the third biggest cancer killer. Blood cancer comes in many different forms. There are over 100 different types of blood cancer. We hear about lymphoma, we hear about leukemia, we hear about myeloma. So we hear about some of these core ones, but we don't hear about many of the lesser ones. So a part of this month is about bringing attention to that. And I think, there's 1 million people are diagnosed around the world with a blood cancer every year. Around 700,000 die every year as a result of a blood cancer. In the UK, we've got someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer around every 13-14 minutes. I don't know how long this video will last, but potentially we'll have a couple of people diagnosed in that time whose lives will change in a heartbeat. It will just spin 180 degrees for them and for their entire families. And I think today what feels really important is about, often if you ask people, and they've done some, I think Blood Cancer UK did some studies recently. Hello chimes. They always chime when I'm doing a video. Lots of people won't know the symptoms of blood cancer. They won't know the signs in advance, which are some of the quite common ones around tiredness. And I mean a tiredness that's different to not sleeping. I mean, it's a heaviness, it's a weariness, it is the difficulty in just doing what was familiar to you to do. The night sweats. The night sweats for me were not every night, but they were probably for a time on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis, where I would wake up either just a little bit sweaty or absolutely drenched, and would need to change the sheet and change the duvet, and I didn't know what any of this was that was going on. I mean, for a lot of people there will be bruising with blood cancers. I didn't have any bruising, and that wasn't particular to my type of cancer. Often with blood cancer there will be swollen lymph nodes. Do we check for? Do we check in our groin? Do we check under our armpits? Do we check in our neck? Do we notice when we massage our face that something feels different? And for me, I didn't notice that either. So I'm really fortunate that some of the symptoms with mantle cell are around gut issues, and I was having some gut and bladder issues. I'm not going to talk about it in detail because it's a bit grim, but it was just ongoing, just where my tummy and just didn't feel settled. I would have a drink and I'd need to go and sit on the loo, and I'd have something to eat and I'd have a mouthful and feel like I was full. and I had the night sweats, and I was tired and weary, and I didn't know what was going on. I went to the doctor and I got antibiotics, and actually it helped. The antibiotics helped because they thought I had a bladder infection, and then it came back about a month later, and I went back to them and they said, no, there's no urine infection this time. There was last time, but there isn't this time. And they said, so really we don't really know what to do, there's nothing we can do, it's just, let's see what happens. And it was only my pushing to say, I think I need to see someone, I don't know who I go and see, tell me who I go and see, but I think I need to see someone. They said, okay, so see a urologist. So I went to see a urologist, and they did some scans, they did an ultrasound, and it happened to be the radiologist that had done some ultrasounds for me when I had kidney stones that picked up that one of my inguinal lymph nodes, which is right deep in my groin, was swollen to out of normal limits. And it was him flagging it up. I know it was him, I'll tell you why in a minute. Him flagging it up, the way the urologist said, don't know, I think you should go and see a haematologist. So then it kind of kicked into action a bit with some scans, and they said, yes, we need to do a biopsy. And I had PET scans, and it showed as a hotspot, and it showed as a hotspot in my sigmoid, and I started to get pain in my groin. So this all then happened quite fast. So, and when I then a month later got a diagnosis of stage 4B mantle cell and told that if you had no treatment you would have a number of months to live. Okay, I hear you. You're very important too. Thank you. That a few months to live. So had I not have gone to the doctors, it would be a very different outcome. Had I not have pushed for something. And my encouragement is that I think we get a bit blasé. I've heard, when we talk about prostate cancer, when they talk about women checking for breast cancer, I think people go, kind of doesn't happen to me. And do you know what? It didn't happen to me. I don't get cancer. My family doesn't get cancer. It doesn't happen to us. It happens to other people. It happens to the 1 in 2 people on Stand Up to Cancer. It doesn't happen to me. But that's bullshit. It happens. It happened to me. And I wasn't expecting it. We have to get a bit more conscious about this. The cancer numbers are increasing. So we're living in a world where we say medically we are advancing, scientifically we are advancing, but the number of cases of cancer are going up. We have to become more vigilant, and we have to become much more conscious about our own bodies, about what they are telling us, about the information that our bodies are giving us. We become so fixated on our head and reliant upon what our head is telling us that we lose the connection with what our body is wanting us to understand. And I had lost that. I had stopped listening. I'd gone, just my body, it's just a pain. My urge is that you increase your own personal awareness. Look, just do it even if you just do it for a day or a week. Just start listening to what your body is telling you. Notice your body's response to what is happening in the world around you. And don't just shrug it off, and don't just maybe stretch the shoulder. Start to feel into what your shoulder is wanting to tell you. We're so reliant on this little thing up here for giving us information, much of the time that is not truthful, because it's based on history and legacy and lived experience. And we stop tuning into this vast vessel of insight and knowledge and wisdom. And I'd lost contact with that. So here we are, September the 1st, Blood Cancer Awareness Month. Yes, look out for the symptoms of blood cancer, understand what they are. That's the first thing. Understand what they are, know what they are, know that there are symptoms associated with blood cancer. And very often when we're catching the symptoms, in some cases we can catch them early, but often they are caught quite late. Mantle cell is often caught late. When it's caught, it's normally at stage 3 or 4. So secondly, start getting more conscious about the information that your body is giving you. We dull it down, we take a painkiller, we take a drug, we take something to just make it go away so that we can get on with our lives. We need to listen and be much more attuned to what our body is saying to us. And the third thing I'd ask of you is, I needed to have a stem cell transplant, and neither of my brothers were a match for me. They were not even a half decent match. God love them, but they weren't. And on the Anthony Nolan donor base, the blood base, there were lots of good matches, but no perfect matches. So it costs you nothing to check out whether your blood is suitable to be donated. Go to the Anthony Nolan website and just check out whether or not you are. It costs you nothing, and literally, it can save a life by your giving a small amount of time to let go of something in your system that actually you have plenty of. You have a plentiful resource of it. Just check out whether your blood is suitable, because you literally save a life. Feels it's got a bit heavy duty. I started off talking about my silly Mohican, but this is really important stuff. Okay, so it's really important to me. What's the difference? It's really important to me. So I'm going to talk about this a lot this month. You can mute me if it's boring. You can stop seeing my videos. That's okay. You don't have to watch them. But I encourage you to watch them, and I encourage you to talk about them, and I encourage you to share them with people, because this is a conversation we have to start having about becoming much more conscious of what our bodies are telling us and what cancer is telling us. And I will talk more about that in September. I've got a lot to talk about this month. There's a lot to say, because there's a lot to do, and for the willow tree there's a lot to do. I've also got a lot to tell you about the willow tree in September, so I hope we'll have some news to tell you in a week or so about the future of the willow tree. But for now, talk about the things that we've discussed here, that I've shared with you. Go and talk about them with your family. Go and just tune into your body. Even if it's just for a minute in the morning and a minute at night, just tune into the information and intelligence and wisdom in your body. And come to our party on the 24th of September in London. Grab a ticket, make a donation. We've got a lot of money to raise for the willow tree. You can buy some merch. I got nothing out. I'm talked out. Maybe you're listened out. I love you very much. Look after yourselves. September feels like we are moving into autumn. We're moving towards this time of kind of our great wintering, our shedding, our starting to hunker down. So just notice the transition between summer and autumn, and again what your bodies are asking for. Look after yourselves. You look after yourselves. Lots of love. Bye.